All right, so let's move on from conflict and let's look into mediation. So, what is mediation? Well, according to Moore, it's essentially a dialogue or a negotiation with the involvement of a third party. So let's really delve into that definition a little more here. So what is mediation? And I'm going to read this to you because it's a really convoluted thing. And it's mediation is generally defined as the intervention of a negotiation or a conflict of an acceptable third party who has limited or no authoritative decision-making power, who assists the involved parties to voluntarily reach a mutually acceptable settlement of the issues dispute. I got it? Good. Now let's break this down. Let's really look at what we're talking about. Mediation is generally defined as intervention, negotiation, or a conflict. So the reality of it is we're talking about things like, two disputes, you and your parents can't seem to sort out things and you need someone to step in. You're dealing with co-parenting plans or landlord-tenant issues, something that would be in court, anything like that. Disputes between two friends that you're trying to work out situations. So any of that can require the intervention of a third party. Intervention means somebody to step in and help out, because obviously if you were able to resolve it yourself, you wouldn't be seeking a third party. Acceptable third party that has no authoritative decision-making power. That is key, because you have to have someone who both parties agree is neutral, both parties agree that they are able to help mediate, but they don't have the authority to do so. For example, if you and your sibling were arguing and your parents were going to try to mediate, what would end up happening is that they would end up, sorry, I'm trying to center myself on the screen a little more. They would end up actually at the end say, you know what, nobody gets the toy or nobody gets the thing. So it doesn't actually become a mediation, it actually becomes more of an arbitration. Who assists? Okay, so this is essential. The mediator does not make the decisions for the people. The mediator just simply helps them out, helps them understand. I am there to help you get to your goals, not to do it yourself. Sorry, it's early. Anyway, and then voluntarily reach. Again, I cannot force you as a mediator, I cannot force you to come to a decision. This is something you have to work out on your own as a party, as a group, and then you guys have to voluntarily reach that decision, and it's agreement that everybody agrees to. You cannot force an agreement on somebody else. If you come in and say, here's what we're going to do, and then you make them sign it, that's not mediation, that's something completely different. All right, there are 4 types of mediation. The first one is narrative. It's the idea of storytelling. We're going to talk you through all this stuff. It stems from counseling and therapy sessions in which the therapist would have you tell your story, and then the therapist would help you rewrite the story from a different perspective. Well, in narrative mediation, you're doing similar. Bob's going to tell his story, and Joe's going to tell his story, and then the mediator is going to help Bob and Joe rewrite their story in such a way that their perspectives change and they can get past whatever the issue is. It's not really good for real single point issues that we're like worried about, paying back rent or resolving a certain fight or something like that, but it is good for helping rebuild relationships. Transformative mediation is just what it sounds like. It is to help transform the relationship. Again, not specifically great for very specific, you owe me $50. How are you going to pay me? But it is good for, you owe me $50 in the pad, but actually what's really going on is that this is a friendship that's been going on for years, and this is just the head of things. So transformative is that idea of moving things along. The next one is evaluative. And let's bring up the next 2, actually, facilitative and evaluative, because a lot of evaluative mediators actually believe they are facilitative mediation. So let's define facilitative, then we'll look back at evaluative. Facilitative is the idea of helping one party solve their part, being the mediator, helping the parties come to a resolution. They are not there to deal with the content. That's not their goal. They are about the process. They are there to help the process move along, make sure that you can move things. They don't give their opinions, advice, or they don't look at things and say, well, this is good, this is bad, or anything else. Now, looking back at evaluative, what happens in an evaluative, and it's usually done by like an attorney that's been working for 20, 30 years in the same field, like let's say workers' comp or something. And so people would come in and the 2 attorneys, the 2 disputants with their attorneys would come in, and each one would present their case privately, to the mediator, and the mediator would look at it and say, okay, well, here's the strengths of your case, here's the weaknesses. When I see these cases, this is kind of the way they tend to go out. And they do for both sides. So then the mediation can progress with a more realistic set of goals and ideas of what's going to happen. So still kind of facilitative, but it's evaluated along the way. All right, that's it for that one. We'll go into a model in just a second.